really ready for marriage if you've not asked all these questions, or if you haven't discussed all these things with your partner. There are lots of questions to ask. There is a lot to discuss. And honestly, you will be amazed at the number of questions or at the number of things that you need to discuss. Like someone rightly said, courtship is a time for interview and not intercourse, or a time to talk and not touch. And it's actually very important for some reasons. Number one, you get to know the person that you're dating or courting better. I mean, some people have married strangers. No, it's not just about the usual strangers you know, like you met today, you married today. Like you guys could have been dating for a while, and in marriage you realize that you married a stranger because you didn't know a lot of things about this person. You did not agree on a lot of things, and certain behavior starts to seem strange to you. Certain decisions or certain things start to seem strange to you because you did not know this person properly. And one way to know somebody is by asking them questions. Asking questions, you know people's opinions, you know people's perspectives, you know how people think, because we are from different backgrounds. We are all shaped by different experiences, different families, culture, different things. And of course, the second reason why you need to ask questions or have discussions is because you build friendship. I mean, in the course of communication, normally, the more you communicate, the more you talk, the more your bond of friendship grows. And friendship is very important. Friendship is one thing that is constant from the talking stage down to the dating stage, down to the marriage. Another reason why you need to ask questions is because you want to know yourself. It's not just to know the person you're getting married to, you also want to know yourself. Some of us, the way we've grown up, you think that what you know or what you're used to should be the normal sometimes, to be honest, until you meet somebody else and from some conversations you realize that you could be wrong. Honestly, this happened to me. From having certain conversation, I remember it was a conversation on finances with my husband. I realized that I needed to work on my heart in certain areas of finances, to be honest. In fact, when I even went to pray about it, God told me, you need to work on your heart. I always thought that what I've known should be the normal. So sometimes it's not just because you want to know if you want to go ahead with this person. It's also because you want to know yourself better and see if there are any areas of your life you need to change. Is there any mindset? Is there any opinion or perspective that you picked up while growing up from your environment, from your friends, from social media that you might think is the right thing? Having conversations will help you expose you to you and help you learn as well. So that being said, let's just delve into the questions. You guys, you need a pen and a paper because I have lots of questions for you to cover. So I tried to classify them into different categories just so that it's easier. So the first category here I have is your values, your beliefs, and your perspectives. You just want to know each other's perspective. So you can ask questions like, what's your perspective on marriage? What do you think about marriage? What is marriage to you? People have lots of things where they think they should get married, maybe just for raising children or whatever it is. And also, what is your perspective on submission? And what is headship to you? You'll be amazed. Some guys think that submission means eating fresh food every day. I kid you not. There's a guy I was having a conversation with, and he was saying that his wife, whoever he's going to marry, and he wants to be eating fresh food every day. And I'm like, okay. My next question to him was, can you cook? No, he could not cook. So some people, submission is maybe you don't talk when I'm talking, you don't, the way you serve me. People have different perspectives on what submission is, so you need to know each other's perspective. And the same thing as headship. Some people think that being the head means you're a man, you're in charge, your decision is final. But when I had a conversation with my husband, during courtship, asked him what was headship mean to you, and he told me, I was like, it's you. I'm sorry, I was really impressed. What's your perspective on divorce? There's some people that don't mind a divorce, okay? What do you think about a divorce? Is there anything that you think that can make us divorce? You can also talk about some cultural beliefs, like ask this person, are you happy to marry from someone that is not from your tribe? Especially if you guys are intertribal or different countries or things like that. Don't be saying we're already dating, why would I ask this? To be honest, you might be dating someone who has no intentions of marrying you because you're from a different tribe or different culture, but they just love what they're getting from you, whatever it is. But when it's time for marriage, they'll say, I'm sorry, I can't marry. And if peradventure we are happy to marry from maybe intertribal marriage, how do we manage that? Of course, you need to talk about perspectives also and values about certain things like sexual purity. I have a video on that. Kissing and boundaries. Ask yourself early enough in the relationship to know what this person thinks about it. So you also want to ascertain about their religious beliefs, all right? First of all, are you guys of the same faith? And it's not just about, establishing that you're both Christians. If you are, you also want to find out about religious beliefs and denominations. I know we are one body in Christ and it's one church, but unfortunately we have different denominations with different doctrines. So you want to see if you are comfortable with the other doctrines, if it's something that aligns with you. Like there's one I was talking to, but in their church, they don't believe in speaking in tongues. And I am a firm believer of speaking in tongues. For some religious beliefs, it might be you're not allowed to wear certain things, it might be certain outfits, certain dresses. As a lady, are you comfortable with that? Okay. Some people are not comfortable with getting married outside of their church or their denomination. I know a lady that told me that she was born a Catholic, her parents are Catholic, both parents are Catholic, and then she will marry a Catholic and she will die a Catholic. So some people are not comfortable marrying outside of their denomination. So you just need to know all these things. Some people are really emotionally attached to their church. I'm telling you, they're like, it must be from this church. So like I said, is this person of the same faith with you? And if you guys attend different churches, how are you going to navigate that? Is anybody willing to change for anybody? Or the doctrines, are you guys willing to accept each other's doctrines in the future? Are you people happy to change? Also find out on other perspectives like relationship with the opposite sex. What does this person think about it? Does this person feel like it's okay to have a female bestie as a guy? It's okay for me to have a male bestie as a lady. You're my husband, but I can have my male bestie. So you need to find out expectations. What do you both expect from each other and of each other as a spouse? Like, what do you expect from me as your wife? And what are your expectations of a husband? You need to know this person's expectations so that you know whether you can match up with his expectations and all of that. Then talk about gender roles and responsibilities. What is their understanding about it? And what do they think about, house chores and sharing house chores? Okay, so the next question you want to find out is your goals, aspirations, or visions as a couple and even as individuals. Okay, so you can ask questions like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years or in the next 20 years? Or what are your goals? Do you have, a vision or future plans? This will help you know if you have the ability to even help this person in this journey, or if it's something that aligns with your vision as well. Like maybe some people can have career goals. Example, there was someone I was talking to and he kept on mentioning that he wanted to go into politics in Nigeria. He wanted to be a governor. He wanted to be a politician in Nigeria. He was so serious about it. So if you're a lady that was dating that person or that was going to get married to that person, you should either prepare yourself to be a first lady. And if you're planning to travel abroad, you know that for a while you're probably going to be in Nigeria because he wanted to be a Nigerian politician, depending on, how you guys, we're going to navigate that. So when you know this person's goals, their vision or aspiration, you know if you have the ability to help them with it, because there's something very beautiful about getting married to somebody and seeing that you partnered with them to help their dream, to make their dreams come true. You partnered with them to pursue their goal. Really, it's just very beautiful. Marriage, one thing about marriage is partnership. So you want to know how and if you can partner with this person in their goals. So do they have academic goals? Like, does this person want to further their education depending on their current level of education? Do you want to do masters? Do you want to do PhD? And what are your goals, for a family goals as well? What's an ideal family for you? What is your marriage goal? What's your goal for marriage? Even in terms of spiritual goals, you need to even find out something like if this person is called to ministry. Is this person called to be a pastor? It's very good to let this person know very early. Tell your partner very early. Let them know if they're prepared for it or if they want to prepare for it or if they're up for it as well. I know that Pastor Mildred shared a story. Someone she was dating, God just told her to ask him, what if I become a pastor or something like that? And then he was like, no, I don't want to marry a pastor. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is previous experiences or past experiences. This part requires a lot of transparency and vulnerability. There's no point, hiding or lying, especially if you really love this person and you want to get married to this person. I know that sometimes it can be very dicey. Some people are afraid and because of that they lie, or they feel like if they uncover the truth they will not get married. But I'm telling you that God is actually very faithful if you trust him. And any marriage that is built on the foundation of lies and deceit is not going to last. It's already a disaster waiting to happen. So it's better to be vulnerable and honest. And even if this person doesn't decide to marry you, just trust God. So ask about previous experiences. Like, have you had an abortion before? That are any complications? Talk about past relationships. Like, have you had previous relationships with other people? Even marriages. Some people were married before. And is there any child in the picture? Have you had any child for anybody? I know a certain family where the lady had a child and then they're hiding it and then she gets married. That's deceit already. Maybe because the woman is ashamed that no man will marry her with a child before. But you guys, funny enough, there was a story that someone shared with us that there was this guy that wanted to marry a lady and the lady has had, I think, 2 children or a child before. So someone calls him and was just like, do you know that this lady that you want to get married to, she's had 2 children before? And his response was, oh, wow, that's very good. That shows that she's very fertile. Wow, thank you for this information. And that's because he already knew. Imagine if he never knew. Whoever that God has brought, your way would accept you that way. Also, talk about your struggles or any addictions that you have currently, that this person can know. Maybe if both of you can seek help together, is there any weakness that you have or character flaw? Ask this person, what do you think is your character flaw? Or is there anything about you that a lot of people complain about? It's very good to know. Some people might actually have some character flaws and they're in denial. Some people might actually know and they're working on it. And sometimes it's good for you to know, can I live with this flaw? What do you think are your strengths as well, so that we can know how we can combine this to make a great marriage? Talk about your medical conditions. Is there anyone that you currently have or one that you've had or you're undergoing treatment for, including your any blood-borne diseases like HIV, hepatitis? Okay, so now let's talk about your immediate family. That's both of you together now, your own family. So ask, what surname are we going to adopt for our family? What's the surname? What's going to be your wife's surname and the surname of your children? I know it might sound so trivial, but let me tell you something. I mentioned in my civil wedding video that they were like, oh, put your new surname, and if you write it, you can't change it. When my husband and I were cutting, because I always had this fantasy of having an English surname to my name. Don't come for me and say I'm not proud of I'm proud of my heritage, I'm proud of my language, but I just wanted something like Vivian Godson. I wanted to adopt his second name, Vivian Godson. I felt like it was just very cool. And he was just like, well, I think we should use Vivian Nabucco and all of that. He was like, oh, do you know the meaning of this, my surname? You know how you're just anyway, let's leave that. So imagine if we didn't discuss it. Maybe they would have just written Vivian Godson, and maybe he would say, no, write it Nabucco. I was like, no, I want Godson. But we had already discussed it and established it. And again, very importantly, there are some ladies that, maybe culturally or personally, maybe because they built a brand and then you're getting married and my brand name is actually my surname. Some ladies don't change their surname. There was someone I heard, he was saying that all these things where a woman will put her father's name, that's her name, her surname, and not put dash, and put her husband's name, that he does not like it. He doesn't like it. So it's possible that you are getting married to that kind of person and he doesn't like it, and you are of the opinion that it's your brand name and you want your name there. So both of you should settle it and know what you're going to bear. Now, do you both want children? Ask your partner, do you want children? You'll be amazed. There's some people that don't want children. And if you both want children, how many children do we want to have? Ask any specific gender that you want. Some people want all boys, some people want all girls, some people don't mind. And for some people, if they don't have a particular gender, it's going to be a problem. So you need to even find out if there are any gender preferences. So like in some places, if you don't have a son, so you need to find out this, everybody should know that it's God that gives children. So sometimes you can't determine these things anyways. Now talk about your family planning and contraceptive use. When do we want to start having children after marriage? I've seen there are people that have said we wanted to wait for 1 year and immediately in 9 months there was a result. And so it's not just enough to plan when, it's also enough to plan the contraceptives to use very early. Yes, talk about what contraceptives are we going to use, right? I remember my husband and I talked about it while we were cutting, and we were even so specific as to when we were going to get the contraceptive. So intentional planning, your family planning should be very intentional. So when do we want to have our first child, and what's the spacing we want between each children as well? Then also you can talk about permanent contraceptives, like the bilateral tubal ligation or vasectomy. I know that African men just fly out of the window at the mention of vasectomy. As in, why? Anyway, but both of you can decide. There's some people that don't mind getting a vasectomy. There's some people that don't mind getting a BTL. There's some people that don't even really want a permanent contraceptive, even though they are like, okay, even if we want, say 2 children, we're done, we can just keep using normal contraceptives, temporary contraceptives. We don't have to use permanent contraceptives. You can talk about your parenting styles. Ask this person, what kind of parent do you think you will be? But you can talk about what your perceived parenting style. Are you the disciplinarian? Do you think you're the strict parent? Do you think you're the shouting parent? Do you think you're the spanking parent? What kind of style do you think we're going to use to parent our children? And in talking about children as well, I know that this some people will say, God forbid, and this is very sensitive. I know that we don't wish it for anybody that wants children, but you can ask questions like, what do we do if children are not forthcoming? Okay, as a family, are we going to have family holidays? How often do we want to have family holidays? What family traditions do we want to have, whether as a couple or for the children? Maybe some family vacations, how often are we going to be having it? There's some people that maybe on Sundays or during the weekends they always eat out. There's some people that there is just always family dinner at some point, or movies. There are couples that do Thursday night movies, things like that. So what are some of the family traditions that we should have as a family? All right, so still within your family as a unit, talk about conflict resolution. All right, don't be saying we're not going to have conflict, we love each other. Both of you are different people with different opinions and all of that. There will be conflict. So conflict of agreement, it doesn't have to be heated. It doesn't have to always be bad. You can have healthy arguments. So you can ask yourself questions. How do we resolve conflict? Some people will say, we're not going to sleep angry at each other. I heard a story of a particular lady, where whenever they have a conflict, they have a chair, a special chair. That chair is for resolving conflict. If anybody sits down on that chair, it means it's time to talk. And we must talk, or things like that. You even need to find out from this person, are you the kind of person that likes to resolve conflict immediately? Or are you the kind of person that likes to wait till you're calm before you talk? Or are you the kind of person that sweeps things under the carpet? Some people don't like talking about things at all. So you even need to know who this person is, and how are we going to ensure that we have healthy arguments that will not affect our marriage. There's a way to have a healthy argument in marriage you can use to even build yourselves and not tear down yourselves. Okay, so how do we go about arguments? Example, one of the things we said was that we're never going to call each other names, no matter how angry we are at each other, because your words are very powerful even when you're upset. So you need to watch your words. Self-control is a fruit of the spirit. So you guys should just decide and talk about that. And also find out, can we involve a third party in this marriage? Like, let's say a counselor during conflict, or if we have some issues, or if we want someone to talk to. So that's even a good place to ask your spouse, do you have anybody you submit to? Do you have a mentor? Then both of you ask yourself, is there anybody that we think that can be a third party in this marriage, like our counselor that both of us can submit to? When can we involve a third party? And who is the third party? Is it your counselor? Is it your pastor? So, but don't despise having a counselor. Honestly, the multitude of wise counsel, there is safety. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is finances, family finances. Okay, now I heard that one of the factors of divorce, one of the major causes of divorce around the world is actually finances. So you guys actually need to talk about this. So there are different questions to ask. So ask this person, what is your perspective about family finances, like splitting bills? There are some people that believe that the man is solely responsible for providing. There's this thing that someone said, whatever money the woman makes is her own, or whatever money the man makes is our own. Okay, I've heard that before, but there's some people that are like that. There was this podcast that I heard, there was a man that was interviewing a group of ladies, and then the lady was saying that even though she has her money and all of that, the man is supposed to spend on her, buy her wigs, buy her things and all of that. So this other guy was asking, okay, so now what are you going to bring to the table? She was like, I'm the table. So you better ask questions to know whether you're marrying the table or marriage size 2. And you people should make your decision based on that. So is one person enough to even foot these bills? There are some men that are even marrying some ladies solely because they feel like they need help. They need the lady to be a team player. All right. I know a guy that was only dating ladies that did professional courses in Nigeria, like medicine or nursing or something like that. So he had expectations that somehow the woman is also going to contribute for the family. So imagine having a conversation with a woman that feels like, yes, I'm working and making money, but my money is for me and your money is for us. So what are both of you? What are your financial expectations and perspectives? Are we happy to split bills? The man too might also have that idea that he's the one that is supposed to solely provide and only him can provide. If he has the capacity, that's fine. So who is the spender and who is the saver? And if anybody is the spender, what do they like to spend money on? And do they even have any savings? Do they even believe in saving? Or they just feel like, this life, I can't keep myself. Now, are we happy to have a joint account together? Don't assume there's some people that have joint accounts, they're happy for that. Some people are not happy for that. Now, as a family, are there projects you both want to accomplish? All right. Do we have any family projects we want to do? What's going to be the first and all of that? So both of you already have in mind that, okay, maybe when we get married, we're probably going to start saving towards this project. Are there assets that you both want to have? Do you have business ideas that you want to run? Okay. Loans. What does this person person think about loans? Some people don't mind. There's some people that their threshold for taking a loan is actually very low. At the slightest thing, they're taking loans. But some people have a bad financial history, and that's a very good place to ask this person, have you taken any loan before? Are you in debt? Have you ever been in debt? Actually ask this person, because honestly, this kind of habits can actually affect your marriage. There's someone I know, oh my God, and the habit of taking loans, I always feel for their marriage or their family. It has become like a habit to get into trouble for taking this loan, and before you know it, you're taking another one, and people are wondering, is everything okay with you? For some people, it might just be a weakness, it might just be an addiction. So you need to find out if this person has had any bad financial history. Are there investments we want to make as a family together? Then savings, are we going to be saving? What are the plans for saving? Maybe if you guys have a joint account, example, you can say the percentage that you want to be saving. Talk about family burdens or dependence. Now, you can be getting married to somebody that he has people that are totally financially dependent on him. Example, let's say a man that has very, frail or elderly parents, and he's the one paying their rent, in charge of their feeding, even medical bills and everything. So it's good for your partner to be on board, so that she knows that, okay, or he knows that whoever that is coming into the picture is probably this is something that is going to be happening. Some of my money that I'm going to be making is actually going to the dependent, so that you guys can know how you will plan things and plan your finances as well. Very important question to ask is, are we financially ready for marriage? So both of you look at your jobs. Are both parties working? What are you earning? When can we get married with what we have? And what kind of wedding can we have with what we have? And of course, this is a very good place for you to even discuss about your wedding. Like I said, when do you want to get married? When do you want to do your wedding? Where do you want to do your wedding? What kind of wedding do you want to do? Do you want to have a honeymoon? All those things can fit into your budget. So the next thing we're going to talk about is extended families. We talked about immediate families, like your units, you as a family, man and wife. Now talk about extended family, like your parents and in-laws. So you can ask questions like, what was your family like growing up? What kind of family are you coming from? So just so that you're aware the kind of family this person is coming from. Don't forget that family shapes us in different ways as well, or just so that you can have an idea and easily blend in if you have to. You can even find out if they grew up with a single parent, if it was a united family, if it was a Christian home, it was a God-fearing family, a chaotic family. You can also ask, what are your parents like? What are your siblings like, in terms of character or behavior? Truth be told, some of us know the kind of parents we have. Some people just know that, when my dad is talking, just or things like that. There was a book I read, and then the lady said her mom is very sweet, but she prayed never to be like her mom, because her mom talks down on people and a lot of things. So if you know that you have certain parents like that, or one thing or the other, you can just let your spouse know, just so that they can know how they can react when your parents are there. And very good to even ask questions like, are there beliefs, are there certain family traditions or certain beliefs that you people have, just so this person can blend in? Like maybe family holidays, there's some people that every Christmas everybody must be around, or cultural beliefs like naming ceremonies. All right. And then ask questions like, are there things in your parents' marriage you don't like? Are there things in your family you don't like? I asked my husband, and I told him mine as well. It just helps both of you know that, okay, there's certain things we don't like, and because of that, we're not even bringing it into our own home. Are there patterns that you dislike? It also helped us to know what to pray about. All right, because we did pray. Then ask any family medical history, because risk factors for certain illnesses is family history. So like family history of diabetes, family history of hypertension, asthma, or things like that, just so that you guys are aware and maybe take necessary precautions where you can. Is there any relative going to be living with us? Any relative that is going to be staying with us? So if you agree that a relative is going to live with you, how soon can they live with you? Who can live with you? How many people can live with you? Like there was this medical officer that I worked with some years back, and she was saying that both her parents and both her in-laws are living with them in the house. So she had 4 elderly people living with them in the house. And guess what? Her parents had a medical condition. I think they were hypertensive. And then her in-laws I think they were diabetic. So one group was diabetic, one group was hypertensive. So it influenced the kind of meals that they would be eating because of their medical history. She had children as well, and she had her husband. So are we open for that? So and also make plans. If at some point our parents are ill and they don't have any way to take care of them, can they live with us? Or how do we provide support for them? Do we get someone to take care of them, or can they move in with us? And even ask, how do you think I can strengthen my relationship with my in-laws? That's with your parents and my parents, vice versa. Or this person say, oh, my mom really likes gifts, my mom just likes this, and things like that. You can even talk about some religious beliefs or some things that your parents don't like, just to let let them know whatever it is that can make, because you're just trying to have a very good relationship with your in-laws. And very important to ask, are there any issues within the family that you need to be aware of? You know, when I mean issues, it might just be certain family disputes or family conflict that you just need to be aware of, you know, so you know how you talk or how you act. Okay, you guys, we're coming to the last group of the questions to ask, and this is very important, and that is X. And to be honest, I am a firm believer of not engaging in premarital S, but I believe that you can talk about it. I mean, from having a conversation about it, you guys can know a lot about each other without doing it. Don't allow the enemy to lie to you that you need to test the waters to know how it is. No, you don't. You can talk about it and then still enjoy it. Trust me. So you can ask questions like previous S experiences. It's actually just very good to know who you're dealing with and all of that. And let me tell you, even if you've had a previous experience before, it doesn't guarantee something better, because people are different and people's expectations are different. I think it's very good to ask, what do you think about S in marriage? What is your perspective about it? Some people think that S is just to procreate. Some people think it's just a marital duty. You just want to know what your partner thinks about S. Also, any sexual fears, right? Some people might have some fears. Maybe they've had difficult time in the past and maybe they feel like they're not going to be good in bed. Some people might even feel like they don't like their body, you know. So you need to find out if this person has any fears about it. What does regular S mean to you? Okay, what it means to this person is not what it means to this person. Also, you can ask questions like, what do you think about toys? You know what I'm talking about. You know the toys I'm talking about. You know, in marriage. Then following that, you can ask about the other different types of S, if what this person thinks about it. So like OS, right? You know OS now. You know, like oral S, what does this person think about it? How can we learn about S? Like some books, are there some courses that we can take? Also ask questions like, are we open to seeking help if we need it, like a therapist or something like that? And when can we seek help? When do you think we can seek help? It's very good to ask the man questions. Whether the organ that God blessed him with, whether does he have some problems with it? Does he think that he has some problems with it? Of course, I'm asking about erectile dysfunction. Yeah. So sometimes some people know that they have this, and it's unfair if you know and you don't tell your partner. And even previous experiences for the lady, you can ask her if she has ever undergone anything like female genital mutilation, right? She may not know, but she might know, but it's just good for her to let you know. I think we've come to the end of it. Woo! You guys, I think that was a lot. So yeah, I hope you've learned something in this video. I just hope that you find this video really helpful. So please do well to like, do well to comment, and also do well to share. It might be very helpful to anyone. And I will see you in my next video.